Hey everyone, it's time for Good Week Israel, where we'll bring you the most positive highlights from this week at ILTV. Get ready to smile because coming up, Tel Aviv Jaffa gets set to become the world's first city with a network of smart roadways. An ancient Roman-era mikveh finds a new home in the Lower Galilee, and Israeli wineries from Judea and Samaria are earning top marks at this year's prestigious Decanter Awards. Stay tuned to find out which bottles of vino you don't want to miss out on. Tel Aviv Jaffa Municipality plans to be the first city to install smart roads, which will recharge electric vehicles as they drive. Chana Rivkin with the story.
Say goodbye to gas stations because the future of travel is here. The Tel Aviv Jaffa Municipality recently announcing plans to introduce smart roads as part of a pilot project for a more sustainable public transportation system. The project will start with a bus line following an electrically charged route through North Tel Aviv, allowing the bus to recharge its electric battery as it drives. And Tel Aviv, a leading city in innovation, will be the first in the world to install these smart roads throughout its city if the trial is successful, with the municipality also considering options to add other vehicles to the recharging road roster, including trucks and cars. The project's goal is to use the technology, which lays just below the surface of the road, to cut down on air pollution and to provide a more efficient transportation system. And the central Israeli city is set to begin the trial in December 2020. So could dreams of a cleaner and greener city be in the not-so-distant future? We certainly hope so.
Now, one of the most visited spots in all of Tel Aviv is Shuk HaCarmel. It's loud, colorful, full of life with a definite Middle Eastern vibe. ILTV went to check it out.
The marketplace is a very common phenomenon here in Israel. And today we're going to take you to the most popular and well-known one in Tel Aviv, Shuk HaCarmel. Markets in Tel Aviv, the Shuk HaCarmel, the Carmel Market, is the most widely recognized and the most known by Israelis and locals. I mean, it's a one-stop shop for everything, right?
Absolutely. This is an amazing place to get the real idea of the Israeli experience. You have a diversity of vendors, visitors, locals that come here to get the best of the best, and really you can get an experience that you can't find anywhere else in Tel Aviv.
The marketplace is really becoming a trendy attraction. I mean, it used to be just a simple place for fruits and vegetables, but now it's a place to hang out, a place where people meet, bars started opening up. This growing trend attracts people from all over to this market. Its open-air arrangement offers fresh air and even fresher produce.
Well, we're going to start back here at Uzi Eli.
Uzi Eli's Citron shop is all about its fresh juices, using unusual ingredients and spices. Smells nice in here.
It does. We're going to taste something more traditional. We're going to try wheatgrass shots.
Oh, so not the orange juice, apple juice type of thing. We're going to do something a little bit more intense.
Well,
wheatgrass shots?
Yeah.
This will be a first for me.
Well, it's a very American thing and very healthy.
Uzi Eli specializes in making various extracts from natural, native plants, blending them using family recipes to concoct age-old secret remedies.
Yes.
Here you go. Guys, welcome
Thank
to the
you.
Nature Pharmacy of the Market. This is the wheatgrass.
Wow.
L'chaim.
L'chaim.
What about you? L'chaim.
L'chaim. This is actually pretty good today. Sometimes it's packed here, you can't move.
Oh yes, I know. This is pretty much empty compared to how it is on the weekends, on Friday.
So we're gonna go now to Junam, which is a Carmel Market variation of a Turkish food called lahmacun.
Lahmacun, that's fun to say.
It's as fun as it tastes. Hi.
Hi.
Can we have Junam kalabasa, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm starving, so I'm trusting you to order for me for the day.
This woman-run business features a farm-to-table concept, with all of the ingredients being sourced from right here in the market.
They have here a very good oven, so they cook everything on the spot.
I'm drooling.
Yes, I can't wait.
Waiting for this. Wow.
Wow, that looks amazing.
It's like heaven. She really spoiled us.
Yes.
For 1/2.
Yeah.
Mix.
It's gonna be messy. I'm expecting it to be messy.
Amazing.
All right, we have arrived, finally.
Yes.
Boriki.
Burika.
Borika.
So this is Shai Chai?
Okay, so we want one borika, right?
Yeah. One burika, please, Shai Chai.
So what's he putting in there?
Inside you have egg, mashed potato, lamb all together. You want to eat lamb or not?
No lamb
no
today.
All fried to be crispy and the yellow when the egg is runny. You can eat it this way like a pastel, the recommended all this in a pita bread.
So it's dough inside dough. What's this? Yummy.
This is
Pastries.
sphinge.
Sphinge,
A
okay.
Moroccan and Libyan dessert. It's more dough for you, this time covered in sugar.
Also deep fried.
Also
looks
deep
like.
fried, of course.
Ooh, thank you. Smells good. It's warm. It's fresh.
It's good, it's like a donut.
Wow. This is really tasty.
This Moroccan donut is also eaten on the Jewish holiday of Hanukkah, alongside the jelly-filled and other varieties of sweet donuts traditionally eaten.
It's thin and crispy.
Thank you. Wow. Another messy dish.
Yeah,
What a genius idea to put an egg into the deep fryer.
it is, and with the
Right?
thin dough, it
Thought about
becomes
that.
crispy and delicious, and it all mixes in the pita together.
Is this one of the original stalls that were here?
It's one of the most veteran ones. It's not the first one, but definitely it's been here a while. As I said, family owned, done also with love.
More and more South American flavors are making their way to the market as well, like these arepas, which hail from the Venezuelan kitchen.
And it's ready. Thank you. I'm taking a bite.
This gluten-free snack is made with corn flour and can be filled with either veggies, chicken, or meat. And they're prepared by a cook who came all the way from Venezuela, bringing his recipes along with him.
So the last place I want to take you is Hamalabia. It's time for dessert, and I can't think of a better one.
Hamalabia is home to none other than Israel's favorite traditional dessert, malabi. Similar to milk pudding, this creamy treat is very popular across Israel.
It's very connected to being a good kid, and at the beach you get a malabi if you behave well. So I think we were good today, and we deserve a good dessert.
Yeah. I don't know if I have any more room. We ate so much today.
The classic malabi comes topped with nuts and shreds of dried coconut and raspberry rose syrup poured on top. But here they add their own unique flavors with atypical choices such as popcorn or cinnamon flavored syrup.
Let's dig in. So I want to get everything in one bite. The syrup, the coconut, and the nuts. That's like rose water, no?
It has some rose water in it as well.
Wow.
All together, an amazing mixtures of flavors.
So yummy. So this was the perfect last stop. I'm gonna be full for the rest of the day. Thanks so much for joining our show. We love having you back on the show.
It was a pleasure. Thank you for having me. And really, the Carmel Market is an amazing experience, and you're more than welcome to come and get some of these vibes and just experience Tel Aviv and Israel to the fullest.
Moving on, there's no better catalyst for innovation than dire necessity. And this latest technology certainly involves a new but major problem. In light of the coronavirus, Israeli-based Touchless AI is now deploying a voice-activated solution that can transform any digital kiosk into a touchless-free device. This means that restaurants, airports, medical centers, theme parks, and really any other points of sale can now utilize the hands-free technology and add an additional layer of protection between clients. The system is already being piloted in the US and Europe. So how does it work? Well, Touchless AI shows numbers on a screen that correlate to menu options, and people need only say the number of their selection to make it. Also, the technology is currently already available in English, Japanese, and Hebrew, and can be modified quickly for all languages. It's also already supported by all web-based platforms and operating systems. Well, hello, shalom, salam. For the first time since the historic normalization deal between the Israel and the UAE, an Israeli and Emirati have teamed up to make music. The song called Hello Friend features Israel's Elkana Martiano and the UAE's Walid Al-Jassim. Martiano is the winner of the third season of the Israeli version of The Voice. Al-Jassim is a household name in the UAE. The song, written by Israeli Doron Medali and Henry, features Hebrew, Arabic, and English and seeks to convey a message of peace between the two countries.
يا سلام يا بابا يا سلام يا ماما يا سلام يا سلام كل ولاد بالعالم
يا سلام يا أبا يا سلام يا إيمة يا سلام كل يلدي أولاد. You hear me friend far away you hear my prayer.
I hear you praying far away I hear you praying.
All right, now speaking of new peace in the Middle East, the UAE and Israel are eagerly putting their newly signed Abraham Accords to good use. This time, though, through sports. A historic contract has just been signed between Arab-Israeli soccer player Dia Saba and the Al Nasser Football Club in Riyadh. And the 27-year-old Saba, a striker on the field, signed for at least a 2-year contract with the UAE for $3 million annually. Now, Saba is the first Israeli to play for a UAE team, but hopefully not the last, and vice versa. And until now, he's played for the Maccabi Tel Aviv club and the Guangzhou Evergrande Tabao FC in China. Israel's leading olive oil producer, Meshek Achia, makes its way to some of Tel Aviv's finest dining spots, and ILTV went to try it out.
Each year sees a batch of new Israeli olives being harvested and extracted. This year's very first harvest is honored by a special meal featuring a tasting menu by renowned Israeli chef Nir Tzuk. The fresh and aromatic olive oil produced by one of Israel's leading olive oil producers, Meshek Achia, has made its way to some of Tel Aviv's finest dining spots. It's the olive oil of choice among highly regarded chefs seeking nothing less than the highest of quality, and is used to add an extra touch of flavor in many of their dishes.
I've known them for many years. I like the growers. I like the fact that they are farmers. They live different lives. Every year I do a tasting of all kinds of olive oils, and they are always one of the top 5.
Meshek Achia produces 700 tons of extra virgin olive oil annually, adding to the major comeback to the Israeli olive oil industry that was once so prominent here thousands of years ago.
We make 5 varieties. Out of the 5, we give here 3 kinds of varieties. The first is Arbequina. It's very, very light olive oil, very fruitness, sweetness, without bitterness at all. The second one is the Barnea, it's Israeli variety. It's in the middle in the taste, a little bit bitterness. It's Israeli, and we're very proud of the Barnea. And the third one is the Koronaiki. It has full body in the taste, freshness. The Koronaiki also used to make a dessert, like we see here.
Today's event pays homage to Meshek Achia's freshest harvest of this ancient extract by featuring it as a highlight in all of the dishes.
All of these dishes are based on olive oil. We use the freshest olive oil of the year. This is the time of producing the olive oil, and for a whole week, the whole menu is based on olive oil. So we have over here a striped bass fillet, sauteed, and some horseradish, tomatoes, and olive oil. And underneath you have roasted potatoes, and then they are cooked with onions and some very fresh olive oil. We made a goose confit based on olive oil, and then we just cook it together with the risotto with a lot of vegetable stock, and slowly getting cooked together.
Chef Nir Tzuk is one of the country's original food celebrities with a number of successful culinary ventures and known for defining modern food in Israel.
אז כמה דברים שקשורים ככה לעולם שמן הזית מהמקום שלי, שאולי מסר שחשוב להעביר לאנשים, שני הבדלים מאוד משמעותיים בין שמן ליין. בניגוד ליין, שמן לא מתיישן טוב. זאת אומרת, אנחנו שותים את השמן של השנה הנוכחית, ובדרך כלל בשנה הבאה אנחנו כבר לא משתמשים בו.
Today, Nir focuses on his kosher restaurant, which is situated here in the Prima City Hotel, which is one amongst a large chain of hotels in Israel with 13 hotels in total.
We consider ourselves as concept hotels. So you can see it here in this hotel. This hotel create or show what Tel Aviv is actually offering. You can see a reception combined with a bar, with a chef restaurant. If you walk around the corridors here, you will see some picture that gives you the atmosphere of Tel Aviv, which is a vibe city. And we are trying to deliver this feeling, this atmosphere at our hotel.
And now for some more delicious news, Israeli wineries have a lot to be proud about. Nearly 70 Israeli wines winning top marks in this year's international decanter competition. Check it out. A prestigious annual competition. 116 judges tasting at least 16,518 wines throughout the 2020 decanter wine competition. Each wine then getting a score and a grade from commended to bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and finally best in show. While showing up big time for the Jewish state, 69 Israeli wines received top marks at the month-long judging, with 6 wineries winning gold, up from 3 in 2019. And of the 6 wineries, 4 of them are based in Judea and Samaria. But the winning wines include 2 wines from the Shiloh region and 1 wine each from the Gvaot, Tulip, and Yarden wineries, each winning a score of 95. Meanwhile, the Psagot winery in the Judean hills near Jerusalem came in on top amongst the Israeli winners with a score of 96, earned for its 2016 Peak red wine. As for the best in show, well, France secured the most top prizes with 12 of the competition's top 50 awards. But not to worry, 6 gold medals one year, best in show the next, and congratulations again to all the winners. Moving on, a 2,000-year-old mikveh, or Jewish ritual bath, has now made its way to its new permanent location at the nearby kibbutz Hanaton in the Lower Galilee. Discovered in the first week of June this year during preparations for a highway's construction, the mikveh at Netivei Israel sat in the heart of a Roman-era farmstead, a farm that was destined to be destroyed by an earthquake 1,700 years ago and abandoned 300 years after that. But at any rate, local efforts in cooperation with the antiquities officials have now brought the mikveh to kibbutz Hanaton, where the 57-ton artifact will be repaired and put back to use. And finally, while mikvehs are not entirely uncommon to find in the region, this particular bath reveals new insights into Jewish life during the Second Temple period. Specifically, it's the first hard evidence that there was even an established Jewish settlement in that area at the time. Archaeologists explaining that until now it was considered that the Jews in the Roman period didn't live in any farmlands outside major villages or towns. And finally, let's take a look at ILTV's Emmanuel Kadosh's latest smart investment in Israel.
All right, in other news, practically the whole world is suffering financially right now with the coronavirus still in full swing. But that doesn't mean that there aren't any opportunities if you know where to look. So here with the latest is Emmanuel Kadosh.
Hey, Aaron. So I wanted to talk about an Israeli company that I think everyone should know more about. But before, let's be honest. Who of us hasn't wanted to become a shareholder in a successful, specifically Israeli startup? Obviously. The issue for many people is that they don't know where to start, so Smart Funding is making it super easy, offering a quick way to invest in some of Israel's leading companies and ventures.
All right, so how exactly does that work?
Basically, Smart Funding helps with business development and fundraising for Israeli startups. They make investment opportunities accessible to the general public, but Smart Funding doesn't just take any company. They focus on value-added ventures for people and the environment.
All right, so how do I know that these companies are legit, though?
Right, so Smart Funding is very particular with the companies that they take on, vetting the companies to make sure that there is minimal risk in investment. They evaluate companies' patents, HR, business development, strategy market surveys, and all that good stuff. They do this before adding companies to their roster or sharing them with the public.
Wow, all right, so where do we start if we want to invest?
All right, so how it works is actually very simple. Basically, there are a few steps. Step one is to visit the smartfunding.co.il website and learn more about the startups. Then submit the contract form to the company of your choosing. From there, you wait for one of their representatives to contact you with, additional details and documents. And finally, the last step is to choose the amount of investment you're willing to make. Now, Smart Funding is also under Israel's authority's security certification, which means that the entire process is done under regulation and can, of course, be fully trusted by you as the investor.
All right, all the T's crossed and I's dotted. All right, so what are some of the startups on the roster?
Of course, again, there are a ton of companies to choose from, but the two that really stood out to me was the first is Ella Pharma, which provides a solution for necrosis and is developing an innovative treatment that could potentially revolutionize treatments for heart disease, strokes, and ALS. Ella Pharma already has patents, prototypes, and has done successful clinical trials. So this is actually a really good opportunity to both support Israel and Israeli startups, improve human quality, and earn good money in the near future. And then the second is TopNet, which is a holding company that holds Tavor Hedge Fund and provides a one-time opportunity to be an owner of a holding company. So TopNet has a few hedge funds and is actually growing and planning to open additional hedge funds and investment companies. So overall, it's a very profitable investment. But again, all of the details are on the Smart Funding site.
All right, sounds very interesting,
Yeah.
Manuel. I think I'm going to have to follow your follow your footsteps in what to invest. How do I earn money on this?
So according to Smart Funding, the best way is to wait for the exit once the startup is migrated to a big company or IPO or initial public offering. However, you can also sell your shares whenever you want as the company value is growing. And also, some companies at a certain point can distribute dividends to their shareholders, which is, of course, a great way to earn money as well.
Wow. All right. So it sounds like everyone should go and check out this site.
Right.
Again, you mentioned that it was smartfunding.co.il.
Right. Smartfunding.co.il. And you have to just choose your preferred startup and submit the form. But make sure to act fast because the numbers of investors are, of course, limited.
All right, Manuel, thank you so much.
Of course.
Well, that's it for today's Good Week Israel. I hope we've helped you start your week off with a smile. I'm Nittany Manson. See you next week.